We will begin with prayer. Om, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकचक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापित्यत सर्वं त्रिलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीं स्तुवन्ति दैवैः स्तवैः वेदैः सदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ज्ञानावशिष्ट तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुच। So with this we will go in our usual 30-second dhyan for the preparation to give full attention to the Gita's narratives by Sri Krishna. So let's begin. Om. 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 So last time we touched stanza number 33 of chapter 4. I would still like to connect from there. Shreyan Dravyamayat Yagnat Gnana Yagnaha Parantapa. There was a beautiful, very touchy, and full of spiritual vibration discourse given by Swami Dhiranand. And one of the things touched to me was because the stanzas are mostly in Anushtup, they have 8 syllables, 4 quarters. And he would be singing quarter by quarter, and there was a teenager singing afterwards, which was generating so much spiritual vibrations. I like that very much. Actually, those who have attended Swami Chinmayananda's Gita classes around 60s, that was really the beginning time. I was fortunate to be there for 1 week, and he had a similar style. Only one difference was Swami Chinmayananda was very fiery, very penetrating, and Dhyananji was justifying his name, Dhira. So from Chinmayananda, he transformed into very patiently going, no aggression. So that was quite an appreciable kind of Gnana Yagna that we all enjoyed for 5 days. We have adopted this reading the stanza because I do not have right now the luxury of someone who can associate with me, and we could go in that style. So given that, if in future, if somebody get excited and want to collaborate, not that it would alter the meaning, it would just create a very fragrant atmosphere. So here the 33 stanza, and everywhere there is Sandhi, we have to go through that. And just for the Gita participants, I have to bring again the point that the important ingredients in learning Sanskrit is 3 by 3 tables for verbs, 8 by 3 for nouns. Then there is Sandhi. And the last thing, but not the least, which is a very important thing, is the vocabulary. Once you are through this thing and having enough mastery, what you want to do is, for example, this stanza, what you will look for is where are the nouns and where is the verb. So that is the concentration of that thing. Then you want to map all the nouns into 8 by 3 matrix and the kriya pad, the verb, into 3 by 3 matrix. That is where the meaning of the stanza is, not in the stanza itself. That will happen to you after a lot of practice. But in the beginning, you will sort out the nouns and verb and throw them into those 3 by 3 and 8 by 3 matrices. I'm doing that when I read the stanza myself. So let's see. I'm going after Sandhi, Sreyan, he says. He says superior, Sreyan. Sreyan Dravya Mayad. There is a word, there is a noun, Dravya May. And Dravya Mayat is the fifth vibhakti in 8 by 3 tables. All these things has to occur in your mind very quickly before you put the meaning together. And once you learn that technique, you will enjoy the stanzas much, much better than just reading the translation. Sreyan Dravyamayat Yagnat Jnana Yagnaha Parantapa. They address each other by name. In the American style also, there is a lot of good way of conversation. They speak the names with the names, you know. They don't speak like, hey, you, something like that. So there is Parantapa. Parantapati yaha saha. This Parantapa is also the combination of two words, Param and Tapa. And it is not Sandhi here. When the two words combine without Sandhi, it is called Samas. So there are marvelous, beautiful things in the Sanskrit language. So not only we are gaining the knowledge, but we are also enjoying the language. Sreyan Dravyamayat Yagnat Gnana Yagnaha Parantapa Sarvam Karma Akhilam Parth Gnane. There is another name came, Parth. They speak each other's name frequently. To touch, to become one together. Sarvam karma akhilam partha gnane pari samapyate. One of the beauty of the way Gita is spoken that you will realize after repetitive so many readings that in a long stretch of 700 stanza, first time it appears formidable. But after a while, you will see that there are milestones. Gnana, milestone. Where is Gnan? What is Gnan he is talking about? You may question. What would you call Gnan? All the milestones are full with Gnan. Just want to give you an example. Let's go back to chapter 2. And this should be also your practice, going back and forth, you know. Don't just glue at one location. So I'm just going to give you an example of one milestone. Shreyah Gnanat Abhyasam. I'm speaking from second chapter. Second chapter is the gold mine. You can dig as much gold as you want to. Shreyah Gnanam Abhyasat. Gnan is superior to Abhyas. Then he goes on. Gnana Dhyanam Vishishyate. And again, Dhyan is superior to Gnana. And then he goes further. Gnanat karma phalam tyagat shantim anantaram. Oh, what a chain reaction he is going. But he is throwing three words here. Gnan, dhyan, karma phala tyaga. In order for all of us to implement either we have the Jain Muni type, they many times in their functions, they keep this little exercise. Somebody would speak a long passages from any scripture or whatever. And then after an hour or so, when everything is forgotten, they will ask the Muni to speak that. And the person would say, speak the second paragraph, speak the first paragraph, speak the last paragraph. And that is called Shatavadhan. So if you have that sort of memory, you don't have to jot down these milestones, you remember them. And Shatavadhan phenomenon is a marvelous physics concept here, because the Sankhya is physics, and Sankhya says you are body, mind, intellect, small self and the big self. When you walk, the big self is walking with you. If you are tuned with that, you will not have to carry all the books around. He carries for you. Oh, he carries everything for you. How would you see that? Some inexperienced person would have a lot of shanka, a lot of doubt. How am I going to see that? You see that through abhyas in the beginning, then dhyan, then thinking about jnana. And if you are karma yogi, by renouncing the fruit of the actions, a lot of things here. So this stanza has a tremendous potency. He says, Sarvam karma akhilam. Akhilam means not in portion, but the whole thing. Good or bad actions, everything. Hey, Parth, Jnane parisamapyate. This is spoken in passive voice. In Sanskrit, there are a lot of passive voice, and Gnane is seventh vibhakti of 8/3 table. In the Gnan, everything culminate. All the karma become Bhasmibhut in that Gnan. And I asked the question before, where is Gnan? What is Gnan? Gnan is spread in the whole Gita as milestones. You want to pick them out or you want to relax there? You want to ponder over and keep going. If somebody want to know, give me one word where the whole Gita is there. And that whole word is Gnana. The first Gnan is there are temporary and there are permanent eternal parts in you. Know the temporary, know the eternal very thoroughly, not academically. Not academically. What do I mean to say not academically? Not academically means you perceive those eternal parts. And that is the whole point. I will move on. Now he says, how are you going to get the Gnan? So he is sort of giving you a little hint. Tad viddhi, tad te. What is te? Gnan. Tad viddhi, viddhi, vid. Vid means to know. Viddhi is the second purush in the imperative table of 3/3. Viddhi, you know. Tad viddhi, you know that. Pranipatena. When we meet the wise person in the society or elders or whoever deserve the respect, we bend down the head, join the hands, and we do that abhivada. So that is the meaning of pranipatena, pariprasnena. And then you politely ask your confusing questions. Sevaya. And by attending their needs, you may bring a glass of water or whatever, to kind of create the atmosphere of service. Then what happens? If you have this kind of humble attitude, then they will, whatever they will speak, that will become upadesh for you. That will become an element of some gnan for you. You have to patiently listen to those kind of people. Like that Gnana Yagna I mentioned about before. And there are a lot of Gnana Yagnas goes around our area. A lot of the Chinmay mission, another Vedanta Mission in Silver Spring. Then there are a lot of societies in San Francisco and all over the country, and they have all the time some kind of discourses going on. It's all up to us to make a choice and kind of uh, drink that nectar. Upadekshyanti te gnanam gnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. There are two words here, gnaninaha, tattvadarshinaha. Gnani means wise, who has the knowledge. Tattvadarshinaha means who has seen the truth. Tattvadarshinaha. So by meeting this kind of people in a humble attitude, they will impart a lot of good knowledge to you, to all of us. Yad gnatva, this gnatva is called gerund in Sanskrit, and it is gnatva means having known. Gatva means having gone. Khaditva means after eating, having eaten. All those tva is called gerund. Yad gnatva, having known that, na punarmoha, na punarmoham eva yasyasi pandava. Now another, the vocative word pandava. So there are a lot of good, affectionate words coming back and forth. Pandava. Yad gnatva na punarmoham eva yasyasi pandava. Hey Pandav, by knowing which you will have no more delusion, you will have no more questions, you will have no more doubts. You are moving in a straightforward direction now, in a firm motion. Yena bhutani asheshena. He is throwing sometimes the adjectives to close the loop, to bring the complete meaning. He says asheshena means without leaving any part behind. Bring everything together. Means not. Anesheshena, Triji Vibhakti, third Vibhakti. Sheshena. Shesh, when you do Bhagakar, when you do division, there is a called Shesh, what is left after you do Bhagakar. અહીંયા બાકી કંઈ રહેવાનું નહીં, અશેષણ. You have to squeeze these words like you milk the cow, and then you will have the thrilling feeling. Yena bhutani asheshena drakshya syat manyatho amayi. Then what will happen? After knowing all this knowledge and the delusion will be gone, you will see all the human beings, all the living life in you as well as in me. That is the beauty he is saying. So another interpretation of the second line here is, when you see everybody in you and everybody in me, that means it should not be classified as everybody. It should be classified as one. Because without one piece, you cannot go through this phenomenon of seeing everybody in you and everybody in him and all that type of thing. So he leaves a little bit of homework for you also. And there is a reason. When you do the homework and you get the right answer, you enjoy that. Oh, I understood something. So that is the main focus here he's doing. He will leave a little bit of hole and you get the answer in your head and enjoy that. So this is how it goes. I am, whatever I am saying is through the ongoing disconnected, not disconnected fashion. So there is a continuity. And whatever might have the experience in my head, that is sort of trying to come methodological here. So please don't be under illusion that last night I opened the scriptures and read and try to remember everything and then I'm sitting here. No, I'm sitting very leisurely. I have no pressure, I have no tension. I'm just speaking the way things come to me. Now, this stanza that is coming is 1,000 megaton stanza. Not only milestone, but it is my very favorite stanza. Those Gujarati friends, you might have heard the phrase in Gujarati language, "Ave ye karhe evu bhogav hai." Whatever his deeds, he will suffer. But let's see this stanza, what it says. It will throw your socks off. Apiched asi, even if you, he says, he begin with that. Apiched asi, even if you papebhyah sarvebhyah papakruttamaha. There is a fifth vibhakti, papebhyah sarvebhyah, of plural, papakruttamaha. Oh, even if પાપીઓમાં પણ તું સર્વોત્તમ પાપી હોય. જો એને કેવો સરસ શબ્દ વાપરેલો છે. સર્વેભ્યઃ. Among all the papis, you are the most papi. Sarvam gnan plaven eva. Everything by the raft of knowledge. Rujinam santarishyasi. All the sins you will cross. Ah, somebody may go to sannyas ashram to see Guru and say, Gurudev, with a lot of tears in the eyes, say, I have committed so many sins in my life. I have no way to survive now. I'm going to go to hell. Many religions have that concept of hell and heaven. Oh, have you done this thing? No, I have not done that. Oh, then you will go to hell. And look at here. No, 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 no. You do not go to hell. Oh, what a marvelous promise. What a marvelous promise here. Unbelievable. In mathematics, they say, what is the necessary and sufficient condition? That's a phrase, necessary and sufficient. Not only necessary, but sufficient. Means not anything beyond what is necessary. What is the necessary and sufficient condition that all of your good and bad actions will be dissolved? You can probably close the Gita book right here. And oh my God, I don't have to worry about. The only thing I need is Gnan. And by the raft of Gnan, I'm going to cross all of my sins. There is still one more, another megaton stanza coming. You will see that. And that is what I call the milestone. Now, see, he's going further and giving a lot of decorative language here. And say, how would you cross over the scenes? He's explaining here in a very charming, literary language. Yatha means like. Yatha and dansi, like the fuel, and dasi, fuel. Samidaha agnim pasmasat kurute Arjuna. Again, Arjun, he's sort of giving a lot of respect and touchy feeling to the friend. In the speech also, the utmost nobility he is presenting. He is not presenting as, oh, I know all these things and I'm telling you. No. Hey, Arjun, as the uh, as the fuel get burned in the samidaha agni. Samid means fiery fire, blazing fire, not just ordinary fire. Nanagnihi sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. In the same fashion, in the bhatti, the blacksmith, the luar, you have gone see or if you are metallurgical person, then you might have seen the metal melting bhatti. That is called Gnanagni. This Gnana, the bhatti of Gnanagni, Gnani Agnini bhatti, where there is, you throw sarva karmani, you throw sarva karmani. And what happened? Basmasat kurute. tatha. In the same fashion, that will be also Basmibhut. He is elaborating on Gnana, and you want to keep these big phrases in the pocket. Jnana, Dhyan, Karma Phala Tyag. These are big, heavy weight phrases. Nahi gnane na sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. Iha, here. Nahi gnane na sadrusham. He means indeed. Gnane na sadrusham. Gnane na sadrusham means like gnana. There is nothing pavitra, there is nothing pure like gnana. Tat swayam yoga sansidaha kalena atmani vindanti. Vindanti will get. Kalena. It's not going to happen overnight. Kalena. Over time. Over time. You will have the yoga sansiddha. You will have the ability of perfection. And you will realize that fact after some time. Then again, he is giving, he has always done that. He is so much in favor of the person who has started, and then he is giving all kind of solace. Shraddhavan labhate. He says, be patient. Shraddhavan will always labhate. Labhate. Medve se will get. It's a Atmanipad dhatu. Labhate. Kaun labhate? Who will labhate? Shraddhavan. Shraddha is the cord between the Supreme and you. The connection. Shraddhavan labhate gnanam tatparaha sanyatendriyaha gnanam labdva param shantim chirena achirena adhigacchati. Achirena. कहीं वार नहीं लागे. No time. Means not. Chiren એટલે લાંબો સમય. ચીર એટલે લાંબો સમય. એટલે નહીં. લાંબો સમય નહીં લાગે. Not too long. આ જ્ઞાન જે શ્રદ્ધાવાન છે તેને જ્ઞાન થયા પછી એને કઈ બહુ વાર નહીં લાગે. You are going fast. So a lot of good advice here. Then he is giving the warning here, and that is where we will stop. There is a warning here in stanza 40. But the beauty is in the sandhi again to kind of bring the words out. Agnaha cha. Agnaha means a person who has no gnana. Without gnana. Agnaha cha. Cha means end. asraddhanaha cha. And the person who has no shraddha. એક તો અજ્ઞાની છે અને શ્રદ્ધા નથી પાછી. Ignorant and no shraddha. I'm not using the word faith here. I'm speaking therefore again shraddha in English also. There is no replacement. Agnaha cha shraddhanaha cha sansaya atma vinashyati. કોણ વિનશ્ય થવાનું? કોનો નાશ થવાનો? જ્ઞાન નથી, શ્રદ્ધા નથી, અને મગજમાં સંશય, ડાઉટ. ઓ વળી ઈશ્વરને કોણે જોયો? Those kind of phrases. તારી સાથે ચાલે છે છતાં નથી જોયો, તેમાં વાંક કોનો છે ભાઈ? What to say? ન અયમ લોકઃ અસ્તિ. અને એનું શું થવાનું? he is going further. ન અયમ લોકઃ અસ્તિ. આ દુનિયામાં તો નહીં, પણ ન પરઃ, પણ બીજે પણ. ન સુખમ સંશય આત્મનઃ. આવી બધી શંકા કરનારને માટે તો વળી અહીંયાએ કંઈ નથી, ત્યાંય કંઈ નથી, અને કોઈ જગ્યાએ કંઈ નથી. કેટલી બધી ધમકી આપી દીધેલી છે આની અંદર. This is something to ponder over. Oh man, so the thing is that he loudly praised the Shraddhavan. He said the Shraddhavan labhate. But kon nahi labhate? He's saying here, and he's saying little bit in a stern language, I like that very much, So we will stop right here, and we will ponder over these two stanzas for 1 week. Shraddhavan labhate and agnaha cha. We will remember these two contradictory situations. So we will stop at stanza number 40 and take some questions from you. And then those Sanskrit people, please wait only 2 minutes. I have just a little chat with you. Don't go away after this Gita is over. All right, so let's have some questions and see how we can do.
Amrut bhai.
Yeah.
Chandrakant speaking.
Yeah, I see your voice.
Yes, to you.
I don't only hear, but I see your voice, even though your camera is off.
I could turn the camera on.
let me turn my camera on. Amrut bhai.
No, that's okay. I have a bad habit of teasing friends, so.
No, that's okay. I don't mind that, but
He's okay to look at.
my wife says I'm okay to look at, so that's a good thing. Anyway, I had a question about the verse 36, Amrut bhai.
Yes.
Now you said there is, no hell or anything like that, but the word narak is used in all common languages throughout our country, in our culture. So there has to be something called hell that people should be afraid of. I understand the Abrahamic faiths usually have very simple answer that this is why they're buried. On the day of judgment, they all come out and then the judgment is given, who goes where. Qayamat is called in Islam, day of judgment in Christianity. But I don't think there is any concept like that in our Sanatan Dharma. So how is the word narak come in there?
the good and bad judgment part, Gita didn't say, even in that Papichedasi, Sarva Papebhya Papakruttamaha. He only said that even if you are bad, you will cross over your sins or the hell part by gnana. What exactly happens is people who have no sraddha, no gnan, satat in doubt, for them that santarishyasi doesn't happen. They do not cross those sin effect. So it is true that for those people who have no gnan, no sraddha, and always in doubt, for them there is no liberation. So opposite to liberation is something which they have labeled as death. you know. So I'm not against with that word. If you and I'm sure you have gone through the Mahabharata part. After they left their mortal coils in Himalaya, when Yudhishthir entered the heaven with his dog, he saw Duryodhan there. And all of a sudden, the negative thinking came in his mind. How can this guy be here? So he asked the Swarga people there, where are my brothers? Oh, okay, I will take you there. And they were in hell. This is a marvelous story. And first, when I was a kid and when my grandma used to tell me the entire Mahabharata, after giving me rice loaf with one chamchi ghee on top and khan. I was 4-year-old kid, and her memory and the details. And if she had a question, she would ask my grandpa, hey, 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 I forgot this part. Could you explain? So they were giant in Mahabharata and Ramayana and Upanishadic literature. When I was a kid, I didn't like this story. How come Pandavas were in hell? And how come Duryodhan was in Swarga? And after a long time, I did understand that, hey, the meaning of Gnana is such a fire. You burn all the sins to ashes. Even if a little karma is left there, which is sin, you are forbidden there. So When Yudhishthira asked the reason why my brothers and Draupadi, they are here, he got the answer one by one. Only one action. For example, for Bhim, the reason was he killed Dushasan. That was okay. That was his pratigna. But in kicking the dead body of Dushasan, he was showing so much hatred, and in hatred he was laughing loudly. That was not needed. What a marvelous explanation. That implies that it is not easy, almost impossible, rather, I would say, except you have reached to Mahavir or Buddha stage to burn all of the actions. So this story has a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous teaching that, hey, your road is not easy. Even Pandavas, like people, for one mistake, they were there.
How come Duryodhana was in this chapter?
Enough, Chandrakant Bhai?
Duryodhana?
Maya wants to know how come Duryodhan was in Swarga?
That will happen later on. In the beginning, the way the formula work is, whatever good part you have done for the bad people, you finish that part and then go to hell. That was the reason.
Okay.
How Mahabharata has explained this. It's not my story. It has the justification in Mahabharata. You can check it out yourself too.
I trust you.
Thank you, Chandrakant Bhai.
Yeah.
You always have an intelligent question.
Thank you, Honorable.
Sanat Bhai?
Yes, I had a question regarding this sloka that we just did. Somebody who has a gnana, also no shraddha and sanshaya. Will it be easy for them to acquire gnana?
Is it possible to tell somebody a gnani who has no shraddha and without sansay? He is not gnani then.
Okay.
Gnan is like absolute truth, no doubt. Gnan itself contains those ingredients.
Shraddha
And without sansaya,
without sanshaya.
because all of his sansayas have been taken care through Gnan. In the process of acquiring Gnan, those two elements are already taken care. It is like learning Sanskrit. If you want to speak, you have to learn the grammar. And you cannot say, oh, I know Sanskrit, but I never studied grammar. Oh, really? Good, you know. So it is that type of thing. It's some processes are connected with each other.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
it was a good question, though. It was a logically good question. Those three elements are not independent. They are confounded, go together.
Amrut Bhai,
Yeah.
I have a comparison or thought that has come to mind. So when a person passes away, um, it is said that a person achieves moksha when they have completed all their tasks in all their births that were needed to be done, all the good things and everything taken care of. And rebirth occurs only when something is left undone. So does this connect to the fact that if you do not complete your good deeds over time in a birth that you are given, then you come back to complete the good deeds and take care of the bad deeds that you had done and repent for it, and that's when you get moksha?
If you see the symbol Omkar, it has a number 3. Then from the middle, there is another part, curvature coming. And then on top, there is a half moon with the dot above that. And that is the structure of Omkar. That Omkar is the whole Brahmand, infinite. It is a great symbol. When a person dies, it enters through the small self with the package of all the vasanas and everything. What everything is described in Kathopanishad. He has a divine card at the time of dying. And if somebody has an accident, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have. Everybody has a divine card, and the soul has collected everything in that card. Bad, whatever. And that is so sukshma. It is only in concept. That soul, after leaving the body, enter through the right side of that curvature part from the bottom part, and in the curvature ascends and come to the middle part of that number 3 right there. That is where he paused. Now, who is controlling the soul? The propellers are the materials in his cart, good, bad, all kind of things. Suppose he is Buddha. He has nothing in the cart. Not good, not bad. Empty cart. Empty cart will not generate any thinking. There is nothing to think. So he ascends to that half moon. And that is where 999 divine souls rejoicing in the Navi of Vishnu. And he has nothing there also to stop. So he directly go to the absolute Nirvikar Brahman. At the time of death, he said, there is a marvelous book, Buddha Charit, first written by a British writer, Johnston. And the narratives are so authentic because he collected about 150 some years ago, he collected the material from the kingdom of Tibet. And first page in the leather booklet was torn apart because they had to redo and that crumble and all that. So in that Buddha Charita, the original book, the two stanzas are missing, the first two stanzas. That is the authenticity of that book. And that is where all these things are narrated. Buddha said before the death, he was dying by the poisonous dinner one of his devotees gave, not deliberately, by accident. And he was slowly dying. And Anand, his cousin and his shishya, crying. He didn't know that after dinner he will be departing. No preparation. He was very healthy. Buddha told Anand, hey Anand, it is the time for you to rejoice, not crying. Why? Because after departing, I'm not entering any other's mother's womb. This is the end of my cycles. What a mind-boggling statement he was making. I am not going to enter any other mother's womb. So that is that kind of soul.
Okay.
Narsi Mehta said, well, Magu na mukti hu, magu janam janam avatar. His cart will stop there and then he's directly going into that Vishnu's Nabhi. And when he will enter the 999 souls, one senior soul will move into the Akshar Brahman. Okay, that is for the supreme souls I'm talking about.
Mm.
The mundane, in Kathopanishad, the beginning is with, sometime I hope we may have time for at least a couple of Upanishads. The Kathopanishad, my favorite. Another is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These have tons and tons of spiritual knowledge. Kathopanishad in Yama, when defeated by that little kid, he opens the stanza with a couple of words, Shreyas and Preyas.
Mm.
Preyas e priya lage એવું ગમી જાય પણ બુદ્ધિ નથી કે ડિઝાસ્ટર લાવશે. Shreyas will always bring a supremacy. So when an ordinary person will depart, it will stop there at the middle part of that number 3. And who are his propellers? The propellers are the materials in his cart. The question in Kathopanishad was, no, tell me what is after death. I do not want anything else. And that is where all these answers elaborated. That those propellers will formulate where to go.
Okay.
And why would he go in the direction of the propellers? Why? He could have changed his mind. No. He has carefully placed those propellers in the cart. Remember, each moment we are putting something in the cart. Believe me. And if I'm wrong, sit down in the corner of your house and see how many propellers you have put in your cart. Yesterday, one of my friend, intimate friend, was asking me, in the Gita lecture, I'm perfectly able to do dhyan for 30 seconds, but I cannot move any further. And the important thing is knowing this much is the beginning of moving forward. I told him, be patient, you will be able to do for the whole day. And even at the end of the day, your mind is not ready to think anything.
Mm.
So, to give the answer to my question, these propellers are well chosen. And so he will be looking for a womb somewhere where he can continue to fulfill. I hope this gives you some clarification.
Yes. I have a couple more questions, but I'll email you.
You can take one
One. Next
question.
time. Next time.
You want to do next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I will take one more question. We are a little bit above the time, but that's okay. And then I will, yes, Sanat Bhai, go ahead.
I've been retired for many years, but when I was working in my workplace, there was one person with whom I occasionally got into this kind of verbal exchanges of information and opinions about our Sanatan Dharma and his Christian Dharma. And he asked the question, he said, in Christianity, we have so much proof, historical proof of what happened, where Christ was born, where he grew up, and where he was crucified, and all that sort of thing. And there are many other historical details in the Bible. Do you have any such proof in the history of your dharma? And I was kind of taken aback, but what would be the proper reply to such a question?
Did I send you one 2 minutes video of a child speaking Gita slokas? I think I did to you. Did you receive that?
Uh, I don't remember receiving it, but I'll look up my email again in case I missed it.
No,
But
I do remember I have sent you and maybe one another person. Um, in that video, if you didn't see that, please let me know. I will resend if I still have it. If I don't have, then because I usually do not clutter my iPhone and I remove everything right away. But in that video, there was a 6-year-old kid, and the person was asking him question. Speak from the beginning of the Gita, and he would be so fluently speaking. And he has then asked, "How did you learn this thing?" And he said, "My father is chanting every day, and I learned in 2 years sitting with him at the age of 4." At the age of 4, he sat with his father and he was just chanting, and he picked up from there, his fluency. And then he was interpreting in Hindi, you know, the 6-year-old. And very barely you can see, he's so much childish. On his face, you can see the child's innocence. And I was really, the only thing I said, in his past life, he definitely was, chanting Gita, not just one time, but many avatars probably. Otherwise, this fluency would never happen to anybody. So, and another thing, there are a lot of sometimes reports come in the newspaper, uh, and there are a lot of instances of those things. Now, let me give you some, which is not written anywhere in the scripture, so don't quote me. But I want to give another example, and it is only from my own thinking I perceive that. Uh, when Vivekananda first saw Ramakrishna, uh, he entered the hall, and instead of he walking to Ramakrishna just ran to him and hugged him tightly. And he said, "Oh, I was waiting for you. You finally came. Uh, these words. Then another thing, if you have seen the picture of Vivekananda entering the Parliament Hall of the religions in Chicago, and if you observe him entering, if you see his hands, you will right away see Arjun in himself. And Ramakrishna it was already in the Vedanta concluded that he was Ram and Krishna both. So they come in pair all the time. And that is how I see Vivekananda as Arjun completely. Another way of justification is his speech was so fiery. You can see fire in his speech, in words. Everything was like that Arjun's quality. So that is how, at least for myself, I have accepted both as the incarnation of Arjun and Krishna.
thank you.
Amrutai,
Yeah,
may I add something to that?
yeah.
Uh, to the point that Sanatbhai is making, we have heard a story. Of course, the evangelicals. There was a young Hindu student who entered college, young lady, and the evangelists, of course, their whole life's purpose is to convert as many people as they can to Christianity because that's how they feel they get salvation.
Right.
So that's their belief pattern, and that's okay. But they would constantly try to convert this girl to Christianity. So when she came home after the first 6 months in college, she broke down and asked her father. She says, "These girls constantly keep telling me that we will all go to hell
Yeah.
because we don't believe in Christ.
Right.
So what do I do?" So the father consoles her. He says, "Just tell them, don't worry about it, because all my ancestors are already there. So when I go there, I'll be in the middle of all my ancestors, and it'll be such a happy place to be."
Right.
So, but in to the point that Sanat Bhai was making, the answer is very simple. The Hindu culture has been so put down and obscured by so many invasions that some of the Hindus themselves don't believe that this is a true religion in some ways. But you have to go there to see, when you really want to dig some history of a place where these things happen. When during our trip to Israel, you see all these places, the Church of Nativity, the Bethlehem, and things. But how many people make the effort to go to India and see some of these sites, which are the historical proof of our ancient religion, that that has not been publicized that much? We are really not proud necessarily of those things, because what is the point of a physical proof being there? It doesn't mean anything. Look at the philosophy that is there. Look at the enlightenment that people get if they are really truly interested. So I think that that's really a non-question, so to speak. And so I just wanted to complete that for you, because to address the point that you were raising
Yeah.
with it.
This kind of idiosyncrasies, is as long as the mind have sincere doubts, things continue. But I give you one example, and it is in all religions. Uh, Many of the Americans, for example, they have left their Christianity, Judaism, etc., and have accepted our Hinduism. For example, in Silver Spring, there is Vedant Center, and one of the monk is from the Jewish faith. But the way he teaches Brihadaranyaka Upanishad or the Gita, you will be thrilled. He went to Calcutta to really see where Ramakrishna slept. He studied Bengali, he studied Sanskrit, and then he is so much Hindu now, so much that he is beyond a Hindu kind of person. So these kind of things, how do they happen? It is the right information the person hit, in his life, and then he had the opportunity to pursue all that kind of thing. So it goes both ways, Chandrakant Bhai. And sometime I do believe uh, that the past incarnations, your previous sanskar, they definitely will bring you at the right location, at the right, kind of knowledge and thinking. And that is how he has spoken in the Gita that he is never scattered like clouds in the sky. Everything that he has attained, he is going to carry on and on, on and on. So that single most faith, sometimes many times I feel like, oh, in the second, third, fourth, uh, how would I know that there will be continuity of the good path? But that assurance is in your heart, that is in your shraddha, that propels you there. So there are so many divine elements he has put, and I think we just have to sit down and ponder over and go into the most sukshma part, the subtle part of the spiritual business. All right, then.
Amrit bhai, how are
Yeah.
you?
Yes.
Happy New Year, first of all.
Happy
And
New Year. I'm glad when I saw your name, I was excited. That I hope you don't be quiet.
um, I have a small comment
Yeah.
on the two things that you mentioned about knowledge and Shraddha. And in the Western management philosophy now, what they also have a similar thing, which is also mentioned in paragraph 31.
Yes.
So, as you were saying, just by knowledge is not enough, but the Shraddha is also important. But the third one, which is in management, is they've translated into DIKW, data, information, knowledge, and wisdom.
Right.
After knowledge is the wisdom part.
Yeah.
And so if you look at chapter 31, I'm sorry, paragraph sloka 31,
Yeah.
it says that, those who practice the knowledge with faith. So it is a practice of knowledge with faith. Just the knowledge and faith is not the ultimate thing. So,
Yeah, I think as long as you define knowledge as informative knowledge, then you have to add Shraddha in that part. But the
yeah,
spiritual word knowledge, in particularly in the Gita, Gnana, is a knowledge that encompasses all the required ingredients in one word. So
right.
it
But
depends
the
on,
but the one after that is the wisdom part when you actually practice that.
yeah. That's okay. Like if there is a little bit of lagging there, then you can borrow that Shraddha in there and make the Gnana as complete Gnana. It's only a play of the terminology here, but
Right.
eventually you culminate in the right meaning. So you are your question is well justified, and I know you are an IT person, so you will go through that angle. Yeah, very good, Sunil bhai.
Thank you.
In response to what Sunil Bhai just said, I'm reminded that after all this reading and listening and Shravan and all that, there is manana, which is contemplation, and nididhyasan, which is, as I understand, something like internalizing what you have gathered. They are even more important than gaining knowledge, if I understand it right. Do you have, Amrut Bhai, any comment on that, please?
Yeah, these separate ingredients, when you go through them, and when you are in the completion, that is where the what Gita is referring, that all the karma will be burned. The meaning of that required gnana is the culmination of all this process, like manan and chintan and reading and abhyas, and all that is leading to the culmination of the word gnana mentioned in the Gita. In the beginning, they are separate parts, but they all come together at the end.
Thank you.
Very good. Any more? All right, then I think we will stop here today. And I just need 2 minutes from my Sanskrit friends. So please hold on, and I would let the others go. And I'm going to stop recording here.